It's Monday, September 19th, and you're listening to the Geek News Central Podcast, show number 706, sponsored by GoDaddy.com. Geek News Central is a proud member of the Tech Podcast Network. If it's tech, it's here. Geek News Central is also sponsored in part by GoToMeeting with HD Faces, the world's best web conferencing solution. Get your free trial at GoToMeeting.com. Click the Try It Free button and use the promo code podcast. Everyone got a great show lined up for you. We're running on some new code with the TriCaster tonight, so that should be a lot of fun. We'll see if I can screw this up. Hey, got a lot to talk about, just absolutely a lot. You know what comes next? Strap in. Here it comes.
All right, people, I need a go, no-go for the Geek News Central podcast. Digital archive recorders.
We're go fly.
Microphone.
We're go fly.
Video feed.
Go.
Web browser.
Go.
RSS data stream aggregator.
Go fly.
Interflux Toddism suppressor.
All right, I'm confused.
Host readiness check.
Welcome to the show. Welcome to the show.
The Geek News Central podcast is a proud member of the Tech Podcast Network. If it's tech, it's here. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are ready to go. Cue Todd in
5,
Button, who's got the button?
4,
There is no cause for alarm.
3,
Everybody hold on to something.
2,
Just press the button.
1.
Aloha and welcome to the Geek News Central podcast, coming to you as live as it can be from the beautiful state of Hawaii via the Geek News Central studio, Overlooker Graining, Honolulu. Hey everyone, welcome to the show. Of course, my name is Todd Cochran, and I want to encourage you to get over to geeknewscentral.com and check out all the great content over there. Of course, check out our archive podcast available via the podcast link, and check out all our great shows like The Gadget Professor, Saturday Morning Tech, Robot Underpants, The Chrome Show, and of course, all of our great blogging content that is created by all of our great writers at GNC. We've got it all there. We hope that you'll subscribe to all the shows, and to do so is pretty easy. All you got to do is go over to geeknewscentral.com and really go over to the website, and you'll see that orange box with the subscribe/show page information. You'll see an information there on being able to subscribe to the RSS feed via iTunes, via Zune Marketplace. You can subscribe to the audio, video, to the special media events, to our morning tech show. All the information to get subscribed is there. And of course, we want to get you signed up for our newsletter as well. So all you got to really do is once you're at the website, click on the link to the newsletter. That's going to take you to a separate page where you're going to be able to sign up for 2 separate newsletters. One is for the Geek News Central show announcement only list, and also the second one is for the Gadget Professor announce only mailing list. We hope that you'll get subscribed to the show when you're over at Geek News Central. That's the best way to stay abreast of what's going on. And of course, if you're signed up for the newsletter, everything that I cover during the show will essentially get into the show notes and will be emailed to you immediately following the podcast. Of course, you can watch us live, or live as it can be, I guess I should say, on the Roku or Boxee or on Samsung Smart TV. So we're available. The show is about a few hours after the show's been produced. Those are available upon those network channels. Of course, we're streaming live tonight on live.geeknewscentral.com and, of course, over on ustream.com as well. Hey, as always, we want you to be able to reach out to us and really touch me here. So all you got to do is Twitter me at @geeknews, or you can basically email the show at geeknews@gmail.com, or you can call the voicemail hotline at 619-342-7365. That's open 24 hours a day, 7 days a week for you. So you're able to dial in anytime, or email me or tweet me, or however you want to reach out, you can do so. Well, I tell you, lots going on, and we're running on some new code. The TriCaster has been updated, so I spent some time learning all the changes to the Switchology, and there was a number of changes. And one of the main things that they changed was the way audio was handled, and some stuff called audio headroom. And so I'm a little bit nervous tonight on how that all has really played out. And I only know really once we get all done. I run a number of tests. I think everything's good. And of course, we're doing a backup recording to the Mac Pro as well as we record this. But yeah, just let me know how the audio sound on the video. That would be greatly appreciated. Of course, the video, the audio portion of the show is recorded separately. And those of you that are watching the video, you can see the actual auto recording being made tonight. I think we're a little hot on the recorders. It sounds that way in my headset, but should be all good. Hey, of course, I want to give a warm welcome to all of the Hana, all of you that are longtime subscribers of the show, those of you part of the family here. And, of course, if you're a new subscriber or a new listener, don't worry. you join a very exclusive club. You are now part of the Ohana, the extended family of Geek News Central, and of course, we want you to be here for a long time. And I give you a warm aloha and welcome to the show. It's been absolutely gorgeous here in Hawaii. The trades are blowing. The night jasmine has been blossoming again. So last night about 11 o'clock, I smelled it for the first time in about a month, and I've talked to you about this before, but it just kind of hits you in the face, and it is the most beautiful. There's no perfume in the world like it. I wish they could bottle it, but there's no way that they can match nature's pure. Oh, just absolutely gorgeous. So the tree that does that is right outside my studio window. So I'm hoping that during the show tonight it'll come wafting in. It always puts me in a good mood. And but anyway, enough with that. Hey, I want to remind you to get over to cafepress.com/Ohana store. And actually, I should have loaded it up in the browser tonight. So actually, I can do so real quick so that you guys can go over to the Ohana store and pick up some t-shirts, sweatshirt, aprons, mugs, glasses, notepads, funky shirts, long sleeve shirts since it's going to start getting chilly for those of you that are in the lower 48, water bottles for your workouts, you name it, coffee cups. Again, a large variety of gear, hats, notepad stickers, you know it. Hey, whatever you do, when you buy stuff at the Ohana store at cafepress.com, a portion of the money earned comes back to the show. So every purchase that you make is greatly appreciated. And of course, you support the show from a basically standard support model. And we want to thank all of you that have made purchases over at the Ohana store at cafepress.com/Ohana store. And of course, that's run by my good friend Sam out in Albuquerque, New Mexico. If you'd like to help the show out and put together some sort of a money raiser or fundraiser, we definitely would encourage you to drop me an email if you're interested in doing that. Well, tomorrow morning, I have to be over to let me read here exactly where I'm going. I'm going to, let's see here, 777 Punch Bowl Street. I'm going to the court there, and I've been notified I'm sitting on a jury. I've got my jury summons here, and I guess I am part of a pool that will be in some to be determined trial. And, there's always a small chance you're going to get picked, but in the back of your mind, you're like, oh man, am I going to end up in something that's going to be 2 or 3 weeks long? Because you're thinking, can I afford to really be, away from my computer, 8 to 9 hours a day sitting through a trial? But it is part of one's civic duty if you vote. And so I am, it's my hat is in the ringer here. So I'll be off for jury duty tomorrow morning. I actually got to leave the house here pretty early because parking is a nightmare down there. But riding the bus is a bigger nightmare because I'm looking at all the routes and how to get down. It's like, no, I'm going to leave early instead of sitting on the bus for about 4.5 hours. 2 hours and 15 minutes one way and 2 hours and 15 minutes, you hope, on the way back. I'll do the 45-minute drive, get down early, park the car, and take a nap for an hour. So so I have to leave the house here about 5:30 tomorrow morning. Hey, the Podcast Award nominations are underway at podcastawards.com. So we encourage you to get over there and nominate your favorite shows. As a reminder, you cannot nominate any of the shows that are part of GNC. They are not eligible to win or be nominated. Also, I'm looking forward to meeting up with Gary Leland. He, of course, is the creator of the world-famous podcast Pickle.com. He's here in town in Hawaii. His daughter is actually here as well. Her husband is in the Air Force, and they're living over on Hickam. And he's here for a day before he goes off to another island. So I think him and I are going to, and his wife and family, we're going to have dinner tomorrow night. And then he wants to come out and see the studio. So looking forward to trying to make sure that all happens. He's only here a day. I'd planned on seeing him during the daytime until this to this jury summons notice came. But we'll work our best to get hooked up with Gary tomorrow. Also, for those of you that are watching the stream on a Mac, what we've been seeing with Mac PCs is that for some reason we're seeing choppiness in the playback that we do not see on the Windows side. So if you've been watching the stream live and you are a Mac user, for some reason we've been seeing every once in a while this choppiness that takes place. Whereas when we're on a PC and looking, because I was trying to figure out what was going on, and we'd been streaming at a higher level, and everything looked great, and then I was getting some feedback reports that it looked choppy, like I was, like a robot almost, and we checked it on a different computer, something to do with Lion and playback of the stream, and it's only just recently, and nothing we've changed here. Matter of fact, we were streaming in some of the same other lower res stuff that we'd done before, and have no idea what's going on there. But we're still investigating, and we'll do our best to find out what's going on. Hey, I want to, of course, remind you that this show is sponsored in part by GoDaddy.com. GoDaddy is a longtime sponsor here at the show, and really, without them, this show would largely not be possible to do what we do. And we want you to consider getting over to GoDaddy.com, checking out all their great products and services. Of course, you can buy domains, you can get hosting, you can get world-class email products. They have website builders. And of course, they have search engine optimization. They help you with SSL and security. They even have reseller accounts, which we talked about a lot last month. And you can become an affiliate and even dabble in the auctions if, and that's what I do a little bit. I dibble and dabble, I guess, in the auctions, selling and buying domains. I think right now my total domain count is like 230 some domains that I have on file. But best yet is their shared hosting accounts. As a matter of fact, one of our listeners of the show should have gotten a call from our lead person at GoDaddy on some issues that he was having with a hosting account. So I haven't heard back from him, but hopefully that was resolved after they did an investigation to find out what was going on. But I tell you, that's a beauty about using one of my promo codes. If you buy a product or service at GoDaddy.com using one of my promo codes, I'm going to help you out if you have trouble. Because all you got to do is you just got to send me an email and say, Todd, I have a problem. And here is what it is. And, it's been a long time. I get maybe one issue about every 6 months. And I know how many of you start new services and renew every month. And it's literally thousands of you that are doing that, over the 7 years that they've been a sponsor here. Many of you have your GoDaddy accounts purely because you listen to this show. But when you are using that promo code, we are going to save you a lot of money. And really, all you have to do is go over to geeknewscentral.com/GoDaddy. And there's going to be a list of codes there for you. And you're going to find them. Geek 5 will say 15% on any order $20 or more. Aloha is a very popular one right now. Get $20 off any order $75 or more. ComSale and ComSale 2 will get you .coms and .com renewals. Geek will get you $5 off any order of $30 or more. Geek 5 will save you again 15% on any order 20. So there's just a whole pile of them there for you to be able to utilize, and we hope that you'll consider GoDaddy.com as your domain and hosting provider. And, of course, use one of my promo codes. It literally keeps the lights on and keeps our family fed here. So we appreciate all your support. And thanks for GoDaddy for being a longtime sponsor here at Geek News Central. All right, got lots of stuff to go into tonight as far as tech content go. And but I just wanted to give you kind of a quick update as well. I've been sharing with you guys what's been going on with me on the CPAP machine. And now I think I'm headed into 3 weeks of utilizing the CPAP machine. And I will tell you, quite honestly, it's changed me in a number of ways. Number one, I'm definitely not doing the head nods during the daytime where I'm doing like these micro naps. I'm dreaming again. For years, I wasn't dreaming, and I attested that initially to my father's death because that's about the time I kind of stopped dreaming, but I'm dreaming again, which is amazing. And I guess healthy. It shows that I'm getting good REM sleep. So, again, I know that I've gotten a number of emails from listeners and viewers of the show who say, I'm going through the process. I'm getting my machine now. A number of you have applied for sleep studies. Ladies, if your fellas are snoring at night and they're stop breathing, you need to get them into the doctor. And push them, kick them, drag them, pull them by the ear, grab their hair, whatever it takes. You got to get them in there because Wow, what a difference. And you know what's really helping me too is because now I have more energy, so I'm able to be a little more active, and that's going to help bring the weight down. So, man, I can't stress enough how much of a change it's really been. But anyway, just wanted to keep you advised of that, and we'll also keep you advised on how the weight loss is going, slow but sure. Just trying to change some habits here. Okay, well, anyway, let's go ahead and get into the content. We'll talk about Citrix Go to Meeting a little later in the show. Of course, they're another sponsor here at Geek News Central. And I got a lot of content for you and some good stuff to talk about, some stuff that has irritated me here over the last day or so on some news that has come out. And we'll talk about Netflix a little later, of course. But lots of stuff going on in the space. I think we're going to start out right away and just talk about Amazon and their new tablet and why everyone is just absolutely going crazy considering the possibilities. And, I don't think this should come as a surprise, but we all know that with the introduction of Amazon's new tablet, they've got everything in place in the cloud. They've got everything set from a perspective of being able to really capitalize on all this infrastructure they have, not to mention their big consumer product base. So they feel, especially over at Forbes.com, they're feeling that the Amazon's new tablet may be a greater threat to Netflix than to Apple specifically. From a reasoning point, I think we all can understand they're going to price the tablet at a lower price to get you in the door, get you buying products and services right through. So watch movies, music, be able, and it's just going to be your gateway to buying stuff. And that's, they're using the Apple model of subsidized pricing on tablets in order to really change things. And you really got to think about what Amazon CEO Jeff Bezos is thinking. This guy is he understands where everything's heading, and I think they're really going to capitalize on this. So the question will be is how effective their sales are going to be and what the price point is. But I think that the Forbes folks are partially right in this perspective of Amazon really going to be having an upper hand on everybody when it comes to the basically introduction of this new tablet. Next story is I think we talked about this on the last show, but NASA is predicting that their satellite that ran out of gas a few 5 or 6 years ago, the 6.5-ton satellite known as the Upper Atmosphere Research Satellite, is supposed to basically make an uncontrolled reentry here, and I feel it's going to happen as early as Friday. They're not going to know the landing point, but over 1,200 pounds of this satellite, and here we got 6.5 tons. That's 13,000 pounds. They feel that 1,250 pounds of it's going to survive the reentry, and will be a potential object that's going to blast through the roofs of our houses or splash in the ocean somewhere. Let's hope the latter. That the rain of space debris is forthcoming. Hey, this past Saturday, we did the Saturday Morning Tech Show. We had Andy McCaskey on from RVNN.TV and Jeffrey Powers from Geekazine.com. Been getting a lot of feedback on this show and, of course, a couple of shows prior to that as well from those of you that are subscribed to the morning show. This was an hour and 52-minute show. Matter of fact, one of the longest ones we've done. And we talked a great deal about TechCrunch Disrupt, which Jeffrey was out at, and then a variety of other topics. And we spent a lot of time talking about Apple potentially releasing their own Apple TV. Jeffrey seems to think it's not going to happen. Andy is on the fence, but as I give some very definite arguments in this conversation, I really think that we're at a point where there is no reason why they won't. And if they do, I think it's going to be a game changer across the board. I think they're going to set the bar with television sets the same as they had with the iPod and the iPhone and everything else. So I'm just predicting it's going to happen probably sometime next year. But no, Apple, Apple, I got to thinking about a statement Steve Jobs made over a year ago talking about how the Apple TV device was just a hobby. And I really thought about it, and I said, Apple does nothing as a hobby. They have very distinct moves on the chessboard, and there's no reason why they weren't just kind of throwing like a smoke screen and saying, that's just a hobby, but they've sold enough Apple TV hockey pucks. I think they've sold 6 to 8 million of those. That they're really understanding how people are using the device, and it's given them some time to refine the Apple TV experience and getting ready for hardware. I really think it's going to be innovative, and I think they're going to have to keep the price point within 25 or 30% of normal sets, and that's wishful thinking. But I think if they do come out with something, it's going to be a game changer. Love to hear you guys' feedback. And, of course, watch and subscribe to the Saturday Morning Tech Show. There's an audio version. There's a there's a higher res version and a mobile version. And you basically get them for either device of your iPad or your Zune or whatever it may be that you want to subscribe to it. But get subscribed and check out this past week's Saturday Morning Tech Show. An additional hour and 52 minutes of great content. And I get up at 5 o'clock in the morning on a Saturday to bring that to you. So, and I know you are all subscribing in numbers. I'm very happy with the progress on that show. We're just about ready, getting to a point where we're going to have to put an advertiser on it to pay for it. But not quite, but we're close. I'm very interested. I've had a number of friends who have been in Iraq and Afghanistan who have been subject to improvised explosive device. And some of my friends have come back pretty jacked up. And they really, there's been a lot of work done, trying to make these vehicles more safe and the armor. But really the goal is if they can stop the vehicles before they get close to the device, then these guys don't have to suffer. And the University of Michigan, no, excuse me, go Spartans, the Michigan State University has put together an attempt to curb the number of deaths from roadside bombs in places such as Afghanistan. The research appears in the Journal of Applied Physics Letters, but what they've done is they're using a laser beam which probes the chemical composition of an object at a certain distance from the laser, and it causes it to change its composition. And then from that, they can do some telltale signs, apparently, according to this technology being reported at bbc.co.uk. And why this isn't in American newspapers, I don't know. But they feel that this laser method will be able to give them the data they need to be able to determine if the device is dangerous or not. Now, here's the challenge. If they have to point at the device, they may know, they already, but it's the stuff that's buried. So they don't say it at all in this letter, but I'm hoping that whatever technology they've come up with, there's either molecules in the air or whatever it is that they're using to detect, that they're going to be able to use this laser technology to put an implementation together that's going to protect our guys in the field, because those are very nasty, high explosives, and we just don't need to lose any more people. And I'm proud that Michigan State has come up with something. We'll see if it makes it into a practical usability front in the field. Video bloggers make millions through online content. Really? Millions, huh? But I find this article kind of confirms some stuff that we've talked about in the past. And this is, again, another article that's on the BBC. And it's talking about YouTube. And if you watched the Saturday Morning Tech a couple of weeks ago, you will know that one of the guys over there that does stuff, he's making apparently around 6 figures. And this is what I found to be a pretty amazing number. They said that YouTube, for one, had distributed millions of dollars in advertising to its 20,000 most popular amateur producers since 2007. And he said in 2010, the number of YouTube partners making over $1,000 per month from advertising went up 300%. Now, the company declined to release specific numbers, but they said that there are hundreds of video creators that make more than $100,000 a year, and thousands make more than $10,000 a year. And I think that kind of plays into what we see on sponsorship deals with your upper level podcasters. Those that are very in the top of the field are easily making six figures, and then there are a number of podcasters that make 10 to 20,000 a year, and then of course a large percentage that makes much less than that. But one thing that I found very curious here was that they actually announced a CPM rate that is much higher than what I have seen in the past being announced. It says the amount advertisers pay varies with the popularity and quality of the videos, with creators receiving as much as $20 per thousand views. And that's on par for a large majority of podcast advertising deals. So it's nice to see that there's kind of this equal quote or equal level. The one thing is for sure, those that have made their inroads in YouTube are definitely being able to, how should I say it, capitalize on Google's basically huge, sales base. Now, I've been thinking of maybe starting to do a much, because my hour and 20-minute show that you guys love listening to is not going to make it in on YouTube. And it will not, there's no way it can go this long. So I've been thinking about doing a short form show, maybe one time a week, to try to see what kind of numbers I can drive on YouTube. So what I'm kind of doing is I'm looking for some feedback from all of you. So if I do a short format show, something that is under 15 minutes, you guys watch these videos and you guys watch stuff on YouTube, these short ones, and the ones that you like that are popular that are short. What is the format that attracts you the most? Some of these guys get right up close in the camera. Their face is about this big up, and I've never done that on this show. I've never taken the camera and did one of these, zoomed in on me and did anything like that. So I guess the question is, what do you guys think would make for a popular short show? And it doesn't have to be tech related. It could be on another topic. But love to hear your feedback on that. geeknews@gmail.com. And, of course, the voicemail hotline at 619-342-7365. After all, who couldn't afford to make another $100,000 a year or even 10 grand? That puts my kids through college. And, boy, that's definitely on my old brain here lately. All right, gotta love this. Lawyers want U.S. Marshals to seize copyright troll's bank account. And guess whose account they want to seize? Right Haven. Apparently, Right Haven has not paid the judgment against them to the Randazza Legal Group for $34,000. So, the folks at Randazza Legal Group have said, "Hey, we want the judge to seize their bank account, seize their property, and they want their money." So we'll see what happens with this. If the judges, so far the judge has not acquiesced on this and allowed the foreclosure of their account to go. But we'll see what happens. Whether or not they get their money, and it would just serve those guys right. Seize everything. Roll up there with a truck and load their stuff up. All right, Mac users, I got some bad news for you. If you have your kids on your computer, or you allow someone else on a computer, on your Mac, they can change the passwords right from the being in the system. They don't have to. They basically run a command line, and boom, they can change a user's password in there, just lickety split. There's some sort of a bug. Doesn't record a brute force code or anything like that, but they're saying that this is a major security issue for the Mac. And if you've got people logged in locally, they can change your password on you. So be aware. All right. Of course, we've talked about this a number of times on the show here, in that Microsoft has been talking about basically bringing TV to the Xbox. And we know it's going to happen. We know that they are working on distribution deals and so forth. But they're saying in a post today on digiday.com that as Microsoft readies the launch of Xbox TV, the company's been exploring partnerships with the biggest cable distributors, Comcast, Verizon Fios, and of course other cable providers as well, saying that Microsoft would rather not pick a fight with cable and would prefer to think of the Xbox as a distribution device for cable TV. So the details aren't fully out on this yet, but we can see what will happen. We know that last year um, they launched a partnership with AT&T Uverse service, but adding that if Comcast or Time Warner, one of those would come on, would add a much bigger base, not vase, base. So we'll see what where this goes. But I know that anything that goes in the Xbox, it's going to be tied to a dollar sign. You're not going to get in the Xbox unless there's money to be made by Microsoft. It's not going to be an open device like Roku and Boxy, and never ever happen. Okay, let's talk about Netflix. Those of you that are Netflix subscribers, you got an email today, and you already know about this. But Netflix has decided that they're going to split their companies. They're going to make a new company called Quickster. Napster, Quickster. There's also a urban legend. Quickster is about hooking up, so they got to kind of pick a weird word here. But Netflix will equal streaming, and Quickster will equal DVD. So this bombshell that they dropped Sunday night is that they're splitting their business, and that when your credit card comes up for renewal in the future, you're going to have to split your accounts. You're going to have one credit card charge against Quickster and one against Netflix if you want to keep both the streaming and DVD service. I talked about this with my wife, and she's pissed. And she's like, that's just so stupid. And I have to a tendency to agree, because even worse, they're not going to make the sites interchangeable. So in other words, you're going to log into Netflix, you're going to put stuff in your streaming queue and look what's available. But then if you want to manage your DVDs, and you want to search for a title, you're going to have to log into Quickster and do a search for a DVD and put it in your queue. And there's not going to be this, cross-platform. I think they've gotten enough feedback, negative feedback already. They're just going to have to make a centralized user interface. I can't imagine them having two different ones. In other words, you log in, it knows who you are, knows what services you are, and you go through a generic thing and you pick your stuff. And if it's stream, it's in stream. If it's DVD, it's in DVD. My comment is whoever the PR company is, they better get busy. They're going to have some very ongoing pissed off customers. And so far, the large majority of comments that were made, and let me look at how many's been made on this one specific post alone from the Netflix. Oh, this wasn't their specific post. That isn't either. I think last I checked, there was like 21,000 consumer comments on this. So I think about this more today about their decision, and I think the folks over at splatf.com came up with a list of 10 things to remember about Netflix, and they specifically say while scratching your head about Quickster. And I'll bring up their website here at splatf.com. It says Netflix DVD shipments have likely peaked, and the company's DVD subscriber base is already declining. Number 2, Netflix sees its strongest competition as an improved MVPD service offering more internet video on demand. I believe in that. I believe that as well. It says, but the thing is, there's not that many videos on their streaming service. Number 3, Netflix is expanding its streaming-only business internationally, but DVDs are only available to rent in the United States. Number 4, Quickster relies heavily on the U.S. Postal Service, which, of course, is in big trouble. Netflix holy grail is to get each person, not each household, to have a separate streaming subscription, the way everyone also has a separate Facebook account. And let me just come back to, ain't going to happen. It's not happening. Do they think people are made of money? Everyone's broke. Everyone's broke right now. No one's got jobs and extra cash. It ain't happening. Moving on here, Netflix is already physically separating the DVD business with that team to be based in San Jose, whereas Netflix corporate headquarters in Los Gatos, California, which isn't really that far away from one another. Number 7, eventually Quixter may decline even or pivot into a different business to the point where Netflix may want to fully spin it off. Netflix was already planning some sort of next step for this shakeup. And then Netflix finishes quarter 3 with 21.8 million streaming subscribers as anticipated. It will still have as almost many video subscribers Comcast, the largest U.S. cable company. And number 10, as before, Netflix's biggest challenge is now to get more streaming content to make the service better while preserving its value. All right, my mom has to get the DVDs. She doesn't have enough bandwidth to stream Netflix videos. So she's not going anywhere anytime soon from the DVD business. I would dump the DVD business if I could get all the DVDs on stream, even if I had to wait a couple more weeks, but only a couple more weeks. And, I've already got a very upset. Well, here's a story. I got a nose itch for some reason. For those of you watching this show, I'm sorry. Here's the deal. I had decided that we were going to bring on Hawaiian Telecom Television. And, of course, after I put my order in a few days later, the Time Warner here announced their new higher speed bandwidth, the 55, which the 50 down, 5 up, which I've now got in place. And the biggest reason I wanted the new Hawaiian Telecom service anyway was the 25 down, 1 up. So I really don't need the 25 down now. I just need more up. And really, I'm pretty good on bandwidth at this point. Much better than I was obviously 2 weeks ago. So we did not bring back on television because I canceled the Hawaiian Telecom order. So I was expecting to get Hawaiian Telecom last week, and I told my wife, well, we'll put it off a week. And then today they didn't show up because I had canceled it, and my wife is like, where's the television service? And I'm like, it's not on. So I get the evil eye. So I made the call, and we'll probably be coming off cut cable here shortly. And we're going to go start with a very basic package, no extra stuff, just the stuff that she can get the stuff she wants. And it pains me to do this. I don't need it. But there's some stuff that she wants that she can't get access to that I've been getting a lot of grief on. I'm still, working a little bit. But I think with Netflix making this move, it added fuel to the fire for her because she's like, well, listen, we're not going to be able to get as much stuff with them. And, there's not that much on, they're losing Stars, and she recognizes how many Stars movies we watch. That stuff's going away in the spring, so she wants to be able to have access to content. And we don't have the TV on much during the week, but on the weekends we do. So, I guess what are the alternatives here? And so what I'm looking for from all of you that have cut the cord, what are you guys using that beyond some of the mainstream stuff? Point me in the right direction where I can, I still have about a week before this service is going to be turned back on to find some alternative connections. And I don't want to go out and do peer-to-peer. I don't want to go down and download stuff. I just don't feel like running the risk as much smack as I talk about the MPAA and the RIAA. I don't want them coming to me and trying to take any of my money. I work hard enough for it as it is. So, we try to get it from legitimate sources and pay subscriptions and stuff. So where are you guys getting, those of you that cut the cord, where are you getting most of your content? Send me your list, okay? And we'll share notes. All right, Verizon has just launched a $99 LTE phone, and this is a pretty good phone for the price. So if you've got a teenager that you're willing to pay the data service for, they've got a $99 phone from Pantech. It's called the Pantech Breakout. It runs on Verizon's Fast 4G network, and it's only $99 with a 2-year contract, okay? Also, AT&T versus Verizon LTE. Of course, AT&T is rolled out in 4 cities. I believe it was Chicago, Dallas, Houston, where else? A few other places, but they are smoking on this. And, of course, this is brand new. And what they found with the AT&T USB Connect Momentum 4G card was the average download was 24.65 with the fastest download being 42.85 megs with an average upload speed of 11.44. Okay, hold the phone. They're going to be offering the super fast, high speed internet. 24 megs down. That's what I'm basically averaging here. And of course, this is new, so it's going to drop with time. And I only get 5 gigs a month? Who are they kidding? LTE is going to be awesome. But guess what? It's capped. It's capped. So what use is it? All this great speed, and what you're going to use it for 2 days and you're going to be out of bandwidth? You're going to stream a movie? You can stream some audio? It's smoking hot, but Sprint still has I still have unlimited bandwidth with my Sprint service, but Verizon and AT&T have both got these LTE services out, or 4G and 4G with Verizon and AT&T with LTE, and here we are, with cap bandwidth. It just doesn't make any sense. It really, really doesn't. And we have this article from PC Mag. Now, to top it off, AT&T is reportedly talking to rivals about asset sales in an effort to save the T-Mobile deal. So they're trying to talk to some of the smaller companies and giving them some spectrum and some other stuff. So they're trying to make some deals here to please the Department of Justice. Only time will tell on how that goes, but they're definitely kissing up to the Department of Justice. All right, those of you that are on Facebook fans, source is being said that Facebook is going to launch what's called Read, Listen, Watched, and Want buttons, and along with some potential media services. So soon on your dashboard, on your wall, again, there's going to be some new buttons that says Read, Listened, Watched, and Want. These companies got to make it easy so we can bring in our own embeds. It isn't easy to bring embeds into Google Plus, and it's not easy to bring embeds into Facebook. I don't like linking everything from, some of the bigger video portals as well. I like to have it served from my own system. But we'll see what happens here with this. But big announcements from Facebook later this week. Also, there's a new company being launching. It's called Identified, and this is a public beta that's launching. It's basically a ranking people on a scale of 0 to 100, aiming to bring better results for job seekers and recruiters. And they've gotten $5.5 million in angel funding, including investors, including former CEO of Google, Eric Schmidt. So they've gotten a bunch of money, but they basically are trying to assign a score to each and every one of us that shows how we match up and what our basically qualities are. So if you don't have the right degree, if you don't have the right social standing, if you don't have a whole bunch of other things going on, your score will be lower. So it's pretty sad when they feel your social score, your college education, is going to be a big part of your ranking as compared to your work experience and so forth. So we'll see it. But anyway, the reason for this ranking and scoring, all it says, is to make companies find the most relevant candidates for a job. We'll see how this works out for them at identified.com. If you're Apple stockholder today, congratulations. Apple closed trading at all-time high, up 411.63. This is up 10% since Jobs stepped down. And it makes you go, Yesterday, I got in the email from a company called True Connect. They sent me a press release, and I was kind of, initially, I was kind of like, and I kind of replied to the PR person. I said, are you crazy? Basically, what they've done is True Connect has launched a new 3G MiFi that costs $90. It's targeted squarely at very low users of portable internet. So the device uses Sprint's nationwide 3G network, doesn't require a contract. You pay $4.99 a month to have the card. Again, there's no ongoing contracts, but you pay 0.039 cents. That's 3.9 cents a gig a meg, excuse me. 1 meg costs you 0.039. If you do the math, if you take that out to 1 gig, that's $39. So let's round up to 40 times 5, which you would normally get from a normal plan. So if you use less than 1 gigabit of, of data a month, it's cheaper to go with this plan. Even close. My wife, she, even with her iPad, she uses, 1.5, 1.6 gigs a month just with her iPad. So it's not talking about connecting a laptop or anything else like that. So I don't know about this service, but I replied and said the pricing was a little high. But I guess for specific solutions, if you don't want that ongoing charge and you're just willing to pay that $4.99 a month monthly charge and just a little bit of data, and you want to pay 3.9 cents, it's highway robbery. They're making huge. This is a profitable business, I'm going to tell you, straight up. All right, Google Wallet was introduced today, or actually came out of beta, and it's now publicly available for companies to want to participate. There's a good write-up on it. It's basically using near-field communication NFC to make payments. You put your phone up against a PayPass at a checkout counter, and basically the only thing is it's only right now being utilized with one phone. If you have a Nexus S on Sprint, or T-Mobile and AT&T, you'll be able to use the Google Wallet. But the Nexus S only on Sprint. There has been no deal done for the Nexus S on T-Mobile and AT&T. So if you've got a Nexus S on Sprint, you can use this near-field communication feature at checkout. But Google Wallet is tied both to Google Offers and Google Shopper. And users can search for local deals on Google Shopper and then save them to their Google Wallet. And you basically put a pin in, you hover it over the top of the payment center. It takes the transaction, and then you just, you do like you normally do when you check out. You press enter on a device. But they got a pretty cool video on it. I'll have it linked up in the show notes. It wasn't as cool as the PayPal video that I was going to show you the other day. But anyway, Google Wallet, and it's partnership up with MasterCard. Hey, let's take a quick break here and talk about one of our sponsors. Let's talk about Citrix GoToMeeting, and let me bring this up on the screen for you. You guys know that I'm just fell in love with their new feature, HD Faces, and this is an absolute fantastic feature that they have brought to the table. And what you're going to find with GoToMeeting with HD Faces is an absolute new way to collaborate with colleagues online. And this product is a definition of group video conferencing. And when you can collaborate with anyone around the world now, face-to-face, it makes the whole difference in the world. I've used GoToMeeting with HD Faces now for a couple of months. And what's been fun is on Saturday, we did our one of our planning meetings for CES 2012. And we had a number of people in there that were on cameras, and we all kind of got to look at each other. And we actually had a new team member that's coming this year that hasn't in the past. And we were able to see him, see his face, and kind of, do a hi, how you doing, nice to meet you type of thing. So even from that perspective and doing team building and stuff, it works really, really well. And, even during the conversation, I was having a discussion with one of our folks that are going, and I could see he was a little bit discouraged with the registration process with CEA, and I just said, okay, let's work this out. We'll figure out what's going on. So it really allowed us to have this great meeting, along with them being able to see my computer screen at the same time. We were able to see each other face to face. And I'm going to tell you, here's straight up. GoToMeeting with HD Faces is going to make your online meetings even more personal, engaging, and effective. And it's going to save you a huge amount of cash. You don't have to get in the car and go anywhere. Plus, it's easy to use. All you need is an internet connection and a webcam. And I want you to try this. If you haven't tried GoToMeeting with HD Faces, I'm going to guarantee it will change the way you work. As a listener of this show, you can get a free 30-day trial. And all you got to do is go to meeting.com, click the orange Try It Free button. It's going to load a page here. And all you got to do is put your name, your email address in, and put in the promo code podcast. Just type it in there, podcast, and get your free trial. And that is where we're going to get credit for the trial. and I guarantee it's going to change the way you do business. So give it a try. Give GoToMeeting a try. And of course, check this HD Faces feature out. You're absolutely going to love it. I absolutely promise you. If you're not satisfied, you need to email me and say, Todd, this is why I'm not satisfied. Because I just cannot believe everyone I've seen is like, the first thing they say is, wow, wow, wow. Because everyone's shocked at how good the quality is. You guys know I've been using this product for a long time. It's a whole new product. So be sure to use the promo code podcast. Go to meeting.com, click the try it free button. Okay, let's move on. Back to the news. You know, one thing that my mom and I have talked about in the past is how, she's got a huge cash crop farm that my grandfather left to the family. She is now getting to the point where she's thinking about, maybe in a few years it's time to kind of slow down a little bit. She wants to keep her income up. And, we've been talking about llamas, all kinds of crazy stuff that we could do that would build a long-term sustainable income for her beyond what rent she gets for the farm. And because when my dad died, they were self-employed. They did not have life insurance per se. So, it's up to my mom to get what she gets from Social Security and the savings that she has to, be able to take her through retirement. And of course, my sister and I will be there if need be. But we've been trying to think about some different ways we could do that's something she could do. And I saw this thing today, and I'm sure she's going to be like, ugh. But there's now, throughout the United States, a new type of fish farming. And I just want to show you guys this. Tilapia is not necessarily a great fish, but there's a huge demand for it. It's put in a lot of the food that you buy that may be fried. But on a 2.5-acre fish farm in Virginia, they're raising 1 million pounds of fish a year. And this is incredible. And I read through this article, and this is aquaculture at its best. And I'm going to turn my sister onto this because, we grew up in the country on a farm, and this would be perfect. And it's manageable. It's not something, you got to move the fish from time to time, and obviously there's a processing and everything that goes along with it. But there's all kinds of biopositives, and it's just not tied to in a lake where all the waste is going. This is really kind of a cool operation. So if any of you got a small farm or small area and you want to think about a business, this might be one right here. It's a little bit away from going mainstream, but and also it doesn't kind of look environmental friendly, but it is in the way they're running these. So kind of cool. Anyway, I'm thinking, who cares, Todd? Why are you talking that? But I found it over in Gizmodo, so I wanted to share with you. Not only that, I had to laugh because the Gizmodo folks were really, for a better word, poo-pooing this what they call a slap treatment. A beautician in Thailand is helping women enlarge their chest and tighten up their thighs and thinning their faces out through a slap treatment. But I have to laugh because my wife's sister, a number of years ago, was going through a weight loss program in Japan where literally they massaged the living crap out of her. And there wasn't so much slapping going on, but I don't know what they did. But I was like, it was worth every penny that she paid because she slimmed right down. And it was all through massage manipulation, of course, proper diet and everything else. It just like it got the body flowing and got just was out processing fat. I don't understand it, but you're going to laugh when you see this video. The face slapping training. Imagine paying someone to slap you to shape your body the way you want it. It's a true deal in Thailand, and I can kind of say, well, this might actually work if she's been doing this for 30 years. Also, I've got a cool video from a base jumper, and this guy is, we've talked about him on the show in the past. His name is Jeb Corlisis, and he's done some amazing jumps off of mountains in Switzerland using a wingsuit, and he optimized one of the videos he did last year. This thing is going to rock your world. I have a link up in the show notes. You guys can watch it. And this guy, man, oh man, um, absolute death to fire for sure. So I have the link up on that. You can check it out. Mark Cuban, he posted this blog post saying the most patriotic thing you can do. And he says, bust your beep and get rich. Make a boatload of money, pay your taxes, lots of taxes, hire people, train people, pay people, spend money on rent, equipment, services, and pay more taxes. I'm trying. I'm trying, Mark. But, you know, I look at the tax bill that we send Uncle Sam every month. My God. Those of you who don't have a business, you just don't understand. It's insane how much money we have to send the U.S. government every month. It's crazy. And for a small team that I have, it just shocks me. It really, really does. But you know what is? It's all about death. Life is about death and taxes, right? Oh gosh. NASA spending bill boosts Hubble telescope funds, and basically saves the ailing James Webb Space Telescope. So overall, the NASA budget is going to drop to $17.9 billion. That's a $510 million reduction. That's before they go through this next round of budget cuts. But if the Senate version of the 2012 Commerce Justice Science Appropriation Bill becomes law, and it'll add about $1 billion more than NASA would get under the House version adopted in July. So, you know, $17.9 billion compared to everything else that we spend money on, you know, I think it's worth it. So anyway, I have the link up in the show notes. But it looks like at this point the James Webb telescope is going to is saved at this point. You know, it's of course subject to future budget cuts, but time will tell. We've already spent a bunch of money. Let's get this thing done and up in the air. The folks at torrentfreak.com have weighed in on the economics of killing mass BitTorrent lawsuits. And it looks like the tide has turned, with some U.S. district judge having entered rulings that basically stop these lawsuit shops from filing these mass lawsuits. As you know, if they had to file a separate lawsuit for every John Doe they wanted to go after, they'd have, in some instances, they would have to file as much as $350 per case to do that. Instead, they've been doing one filing and putting thousands of names on there. But it looks like that some of the judges are starting to push back and saying that they're wasting the judges' time. But you know, there's huge payoffs if they're able to get these through. And time will tell, because what they found on a single 6,000 John Doe suit was that they were able to collect about $1.4 million. And based on their fees and everything else, if they actually had to file those separately, they would have actually lost about $10,000 on the filing. So that gives you an idea that if the judges don't allow these mass filings to continue, it's going to stop most of these lawsuits in their tracks, which is probably good news. And a more weird situation, Pirate Bay founder did not show up to his Court of Appeal hearing. And people are really wondering what's going on with Pirate Bay founder Godfred Servalvalam. Oh, I destroyed that. And he didn't turn up for his hearing today. And the judges basically said, well, we'll deal with him later. And they're dealing with the other three individuals, apparently reducing their jail time, but at the same time increasing their fine. Fine was pretty high initially. So I don't know... you know, I guess it was they're willing to stay out of jail to pay the higher penalty. But anyway, this the missing leader of the Pirate Bay has 3 weeks to apply for his appeal, and he needs to show up, I guess, or face a year in jail. And his share of the 30 million kroner is 4.48 million in damages will stand. So we'll see where this goes. Right, Microsoft has got quite the corny video on YouTube. It's called "Don't Get Stuck in the IT Past." I don't think they really did a good job on this. I have this link up in the show notes. You can check it out. It's all about cloud computing. But one thing I am excited about is I want to get my hands on a Sony tablet. I really have seen this. I've seen a couple of the videos on this. And this is probably one of the few tablets I'm really excited about that I want to go ahead and get. Now, the folks at Sony are saying at some point they're going to send me a review unit, but I don't know if I'm going to wait and just put one on order. but I like the design. I like the style. I've liked what they've done with this particular tablet. And I just wonder how many of you else have reviewed the some of the reviews already on the Sony tablet. And are you guys going to make the jump? Are you going to pick one of these up? The only thing is it's got kind of a weird power cord, and I don't know if I like that or not. But anyway, of course, running Android. So I have the link up in the show notes, and this was over at ogizmo.com that did the review. But I like it, and I'm going to see if I can get one from my Sony rep to demo for you guys. Another cool product that I've been got my bike out and actually have it into the shop to get it fixed. And I saw this very cool device called Power Wheel. And I'm thinking, wow, this is something that might help me get up hills. It's quite the opposite. What is? It's a device that you change out on your wheel, and you set the resistance settings, and it actually helps you get in better shape by providing more resistance on flat surfaces. So those of you that live in areas where there is no hills or anything like that, you can get your resistance training with the Power Wheel. This thing is no price on this yet, but of course you'll have to change. You have to take and get your wheel remounted to the to this. But kind of a cool device. It gives you a variety of different resistance settings to play with. All right, another article over on Ogizmo, and I'm always looking for gear to be able to allow me to downsize my portable system. And I quite haven't found this, but any of you that are creating content, you're going to want to check out the Tascam IKZ mic and instrument interface. So if you want to jam out and hook this up to your computer, this is a great way to record media. And you can either do it via mic or a guitar. And it's a FireWire connection, or excuse me, a USB 2.0 connection back to the computer. Works with Mac or PC. So pretty nice little device by the folks at Tascam, and they usually do good work on the different gear that they put together. Also, if you're one of these folks that have to have something styling on their desk, there's a new hard drive enclosure with an actual Apple logo on it that you can get available for $25.95 from Amazon. And I didn't load it. Let me try that again. Copy and paste and go. And for those of you watching, what is going on here? Must be I copied it into the wrong. Let me go up there and hit escape. Oh, there we go. I almost copied it into the wrong window. There we go. So this is a slick little external hard drive that isn't tiny in size, and basically it's got the same kind of motif as the Mac does. So this enclosure, of course, and there's lots of enclosures out there, but this one here is, if you're really worried about style, $26 will get you the enclosure minus the hard drive for you to pick up. All right, in more serious discussions, the folks over at GigaOM are talking about a new application called Trender, and it's basically a social media tool for TV networks. They're able to show you what's going on and people watching television programming, who's replying, and who's basically talking about specific shows. It's a real-time dashboard that is going to be kind of cool. It subscribers will be able to dig in and explore responses and discussions about different television shows and times. I don't know what this is going to be priced at. Definitely is probably something that the TV executives are going to use, and I'm sure it'll be expensive, but I'm hoping there's going to be a free version of this for all of us to check out, because it is kind of cool to be able to see on the social scale and in Twitter and Facebook and the different sites, Google Plus, where people are talking about specific content that's on TV. And I think it would pay well or do well to watch. It's also give you trends on what's going on in politics as well. All right, if you've got an Android tablet, you may want to check out a new app called DeskTube. It wants to be your tablet's YouTube app. And I looked at this pretty cool little app, so I have a link up in the show notes for you to check it out. But it works best in a group experience where a couple of you are watching the same video and commenting on different stuff. So anyway, I have that link up for you to check out. Hey, on Windows 8, I actually loaded it on one of my laptops here, and I don't know if I'm having trouble using the Metro style interface. I'm clicking on stuff and it's not popping the app. I don't know if they're not working or not, but I continue to mess with Windows 8 so far. It looks pretty solid from just the actual standard operating stuff when you go into a standard UI user interface mode, and pretty clean from that perspective. But they did some speed tests, basically comparing Windows 7 to Windows 8, and the folks over at Lifehacker did this, and the results are pretty interesting. When you look at load speeds, boot time on Windows 8 is about 10 seconds compared to the test machine they did of Windows 7 being 35 seconds. My Windows 7 machine has never booted in 35 seconds for sure. But compressing a 700 meg file, 29 seconds on Windows 8, 32 on Windows 7. Decompressing was 11 and 12. Duplicated 700 meg file, about a second difference. Encode a movie and Handbrake, a few seconds faster on Windows 8. So all pretty comparable. There was nothing that really stood out really close on a speed time, but it definitely looks like Windows 8 just does have a tiny speed advantage at this point. And a second or two is pretty hard to really tell if that's accurate, because you could be off half a second just on a stopwatch click. But we'll see as Windows 8 gets closer to release how its performance looks. All right, over to Geek News Central, Alan Buckingham wrote a good article on an Android app called Print Share. And boy, I tell you, if you're an Android user, you're going to want to check this app out. So this is I guess this app's a couple, the top, there's several levels on price, but you can get it right now on sale, I think, for like $3. And it allows you to print from your device to any network PC connected printer on the network via Wi-Fi or Bluetooth. And with the Print Share app installed on your computer, you can even print from a remote location. So this is a nice little app for those of you that want to do more printing on with your Android device. Along with that, we had a great article over at Geek News Central by Jeffrey writing up a pretty cool device. It's called the iTwin. And this is available, I guess, for $99 through Amazon. But what it does is essentially allows your computer that you have sitting at home, specifically a Mac computer, allows them to be paired up so that you can actually have one machine at home automatically be kind of like a ghost image of what you have in your machine, and that you can kind of sync them. And it's a pretty cool feature. Now, you can't update over the internet. They have to be on the same Wi-Fi network or have the same network connection. But essentially, your other computer really becomes kind of your cloud source. It allows you to maintain a backup that while it's not on your machine, it is on another computer. But if you have that machine tied to a Carbonite account or something like that, then that would push up to the cloud, and you'd truly have like a two backup system, which is kind of cool. Hey, if you haven't noticed, Chrome 14 is out. It's bringing a few upgrades for Lion users, so make sure those of you that are running Lion will basically get out there and do that Chrome update. And need to test Chrome on the stream with the Mac, and make sure that it's this issue is restricted to Firefox. Over on Engadget, and this is a story made all the rounds today, gamers have been able to work on a University of Washington problem where they've solved a decade-long AIDS protein issue. And basically what the gamers were able to do that the scientists were not was use gaming technology to build a model of these proteins. And it's a game called Fold It. And but anyway, scientists at the University of Michigan were able to obtain a successful model of the simian AIDS causing, this is way beyond my head, causing Mason, the Pfizer monkey virus retroviral protease. I'm just going to leave this out. But anyway, that's a lot of scientific gobbledygook. But make a long story short here, the gamers were able to put together a profile on this that the scientists have not been able to do for a decade. And they were just able to do it in a couple of weeks. So pretty cool stuff. Shows you that gamers can think a little outside the box. And I don't know exactly what was involved in building this, but the scientists are pretty happy. Hey, Amazon is rolling out an international app store. So that appears to be getting ready to go live here. So we'll keep an eye on that. Last few articles here is Samsung is seeking to block sales of the upcoming iPhone 5 in Korea. So the battle continues here with Korea playing hardball against Apple, Samsung playing hardball against Apple, as they should because of all the nastiness going on in Germany and everyone else. But appears there's more litigation coming forth. Maybe Samsung feels that they at some point can basically come to a status quo with Apple and basically allow the companies to compete. And I understand why Samsung's doing this on their home turf. Um, Last couple of articles here. Another one: hacker break SSL encryption used by millions of sites, and this has a potential to be a big story. Apparently, the majority of sites out there are vulnerable to basically man-in-the-middle attacks, and they've been able to decrypt encrypted cookies and data. And there was basically researchers say this is a very serious weakness in virtually all websites protected by secure sockets. So I'll have this link up in the show notes. We'll be keeping an eye on this, and I'm trying to get feedback from some of the writers to find out exactly how bad this really is. But if it's as bad as I think it's going to be, could be some major infrastructure change coming to all of us that have sites that are running on SSL. Unlike being promised, HP has started to lay off people in their web OS hardware unit. So they've laid off about 100 employees. And of course, there's more plans to axe the entire business unit itself. So there'll probably be more layoffs coming. And the final story of tonight: the Pirate Party has taken 9% of the vote in Berlin elections and has won a bunch of seats in the parliament. All right, those of you that are in Europe, please kind of like clue me in on what's going on with this Pirate Party and give me some info. Okay, you've got here in the States, you've got the Republicans, you've got the Democrats, you've got independents, you have libertarians. What else have we got for political parties? So how is this whole pirate party working in Berlin? I don't fully. Are they call themselves the pirate party? Does that mean they believe in sharing stuff, or what's the background? I'd love to hear some feedback and get some full details on their motivations. All right, let me go ahead and get into. Do we have an email today? Let me load this up. I have not looked already. Let's see here. The last show was on the 15th. Oh yeah, we got a few emails here. Got email from Jim. Oh, I gotta play this for you guys. We got some time. This is incredible. Let me copy this link. If you haven't seen this already, I'll be surprised. But let me turn the volume up on the YouTube. Hang on. And what this is what does it feel like to fly over planet Earth? And I apologize if you're listening to the audio portion of the show and there's not a lot of audio to go along with this. This is just too incredible to pass up to not show to the audience. So let me go ahead and load this up. Of course, I'm going to miss half of it here. Oh, gosh, what's going on? Come on, baby. There we go. Let's try this again. Did I just crash the browser? Yeah, I did. Isn't that funny? Flash quit working. Well, there is not going to be any video. But anyway, Jim provided this. This is a YouTube video. Why does it fly? What does it feel like to fly over planet Earth? This is an incredible video. It starts in North America, heading south, goes over South America, and just before daylight near Antarctica, you can see countries, landmarks, all kinds of stuff. It starts with Vancouver Island, goes over Victoria, goes over Seattle, Portland, San Francisco, L.A., and on and on and on. But when you see this, you're going to be – it's an amazing video. It's one of the coolest ones I've seen in a long time. Got an email here from Tim. He said, lots of angry customers responding to the CNET article about Netflix. He says, as for me, I'm done. I'm canceling my account after I send this email. I simply don't watch enough movies to want to pay $20 a month. Redbox and Amazon Instant Rentals will suit me just fine. Plus, I have Amazon.com Prime, which I use for free shipping. I'm not sure if Netflix future is looking bright with all of the other options out there. I don't get what they're thinking. what they're thinking down in Los Gatos. So Tim sent me that. Thanks for your comments, Tim. I don't get it either. Also got an email here from Miss Small Biz or MS Small Biz. Todd, just a quick comment from what I think was show 699, where you mentioned having a third party Best Buy loading software on your PC, and it was a risk. Personally, I do not even run the software loaded by the vendor of the PC/notebook, and certainly wouldn't have others loading software on my PC or even taking it out of my site for testing and trust it when I get back. Granted, I build most of the systems, but an example would be my Dell netbook, which I picked up at Best Buy, in which, after playing with it for a day to verify the hardware worked and the netbook would suffice for my needs, I reformatted and loaded my own copy of Windows. Another example is I've had times taken items to be printed at Staples via flash disk. When I do that, disk only contains what I printed and is reformatted when I bring it home. Auto run is turned off on my PC. Good, smart, smart, smart. I will admit I do tend to leave vendor installs in place when my customer orders new Dells, but only after I verify there's no bloatware. I disabled a half dozen or so auto run applications, such as Dell Support uses auto runs and Process Explorer from sysinternals to check for obvious background junk, uninstall any pre-installed antivirus, install the customer's AV product, and then finally scan with both a rootkit scanner and a malware scanner before downloading all the needed updates and installing the customer's business software. Although I probably spend almost as much time cleaning it as installing from scratch, I have left the OS as installed by this vendor. So if we have issues during the first few months, the vendor cannot blame any OS or driver change, and their typical answer of, well, let's do a reinstall. So that was an email from MS Small Biz. I assume that stands for Microsoft Small Biz. I've always said Miss. I don't know why I've done that in the past. But anyway, that's it for the show tonight. Got you guys out of here in good time. Obviously, if you've got comments about the show, we want to hear from you. Email me at geeknews@gmail.com. Voicemail hotline is 619-342-7365. I'm available on Twitter at Geek News. Please follow me. And of course, if you listen to the show, help us propagate the show by sharing the show information with your friends, people that you know, twittering about it, talking it up, writing good profiles on iTunes, and so forth. Your support is needed and is appreciated. But I want to thank you all for being part of the Ohana here. And if you're new to the show, thanks for being here and thanks for hanging out with me for the last hour and 17 minutes. We'll be back with you live Thursday night for a Friday morning release of Geek News Central show number 707. This has been show number 706. Everyone take care until next time. Aloha.